So the game I'm playing today is called Chalkboard. This is an Etcher-inspired isometric puzzle game. Yes, another Etcher-inspired puzzle game. And in this game, you are wielding a stick of chalk. The chalk is integral to solving most of the game's puzzles, as it can be used to erase certain walls in order to trigger specific events. However, the way it's implemented in this game is a little bit strange, admittedly, and I feel like it doesn't really work out all that well. But I am gonna explain what I like and dislike about this game once I get to playing it. I already played through the entire thing off screen. This is actually a pretty short game. If I'm not mistaken, I don't believe this is even meant to be like a fully fledged game. In fact, if you go to the game's itch.io page, it's listed as a prototype. This is normally the kind of game that I would preserve for my randomizer series, but since it doesn't seem likely that that series is ever going to return now, I figured I might as well just give it its own separate video. Not only that, but the last 5 videos I've uploaded were in excess of an hour, one of which was in excess of 2 hours, so I just wanted to apply the brakes a little bit and play something a lot smaller, something that I could complete within like just 10 to 15 minutes. Actually, this game doesn't even take that long to beat. Indeed, can I actually make a gameplay video that isn't in excess of 20 minutes like I used to do several years ago? Back when I was forced to work within YouTube's 15-minute time limit? Well, we'll find out soon enough because I don't actually know for sure how long this video will be. So let's not waste any further time and just get started with the game here. Right, so we have arrived in the game world. We are on some sort of makeshift boat of some sort. We are playing as this, faceless cat person with goggles? Not sure why you would ever need the goggles if you don't even have eyes, but whatever. So, movement in this game is pretty weird. You have to click on a specific part of the map, or I guess a specific part of the game area, and your cat character will just walk straight over to where you clicked. Yeah, it's kind of like the good old point-and-click adventure games. Not entirely sure how I feel about that, though. I'd like to be able to just, you know, control my character manually, instead of just clicking on random places and telling them where to go. Not only that, but this character walks so freaking slowly, too. The game is drawn in this nice cel-shaded art style, though, which I guess kind of reminds me of Manifold Garden to some extent. I came over here because we just have this, like, what I presume is an abstract lighthouse. I guess that shape up there is supposed to represent, like, the top of the lighthouse or something, the actual light. We still managed to find our way to this, whatever the hell this landscape is. But let's just go and pick up the chalk. Gotta go and pick up this chalk. There we go. They'll pick it up automatically. Yes, the lighthouse guides us to this portal over here. This interdimensional portal that we have to leap through. Now, we have this giant, what is basically a blackboard. We can write on this blackboard. So what we have to do is that we have to create a hole in this giant blackboard wall in order to effectively erase it. So you can indeed write on this blackboard wall, and you can create all sorts of bizarre shapes if you want. Again, the implementation of this is a little bit strange because it doesn't seem like you can just draw anywhere you want on the billboard. It almost works like an Etch-A-Sketch, in the sense that it doesn't really allow you to draw curved lines, which I am personally not a massive fan of. Yeah, we created a hole in the wall right there, but not where we were supposed to place it. I was trying to make like a little spiral right here. But as you can see, yeah, it doesn't really allow you to make abstract shapes, though. You can only create, like rectangles or squares with this piece of chalk right here. The hole that you cut out before gets replaced with the new hole that you cut out. It doesn't, like, stay there or anything. So you left-click and drag in order to draw on this blackboard right here, but we do need to get on through. So we are just going to walk on through now. There we go. The path has opened up to us. And now, we just have to travel through the portal in order to make our way to the next part of the environment. So this is the second level right here. So now we have to walk all the way down these steps. And you'll notice that there is some water. And we cannot travel in the water. The game will not allow us to do so. So what exactly do we have to do here? Well, we have to try and find a way to drain this water. Now you'll notice, in true Etcher style, that the water is just flowing infinitely off the side of the terrain here. Kind of similar to what it does in Manifold Garden, actually. So, literally all we have to do right here is, yeah, just sketch out... Oh, whoa, what in the world did I do here? Well, I was gonna say, sketch out a shape in one of the walls right here. See, this is basically like a dam. It's like a dam, and you have to create a hole in the dam, and then yeah, all the water just gets drained out, which makes me wonder, like, what would even be the point of creating a giant hole in the other wall? I guess you could also drain it out the right side, or like the cat person's right side, but yeah, I'm not really sure about that. That hole stays there. But I don't really understand why the other one gets reset. Again, this is a prototype, so I'm not expecting, like, you know, substantial depth here. But I just find that to be a little bit peculiar, okay? That doesn't seem like how it's supposed to work. I do like the music in this game, though, at the very least. So we can actually walk across the water here. Yes, we can only walk across shallow water, because I guess our main character here, our hero, cannot actually swim. Okay, wait, I'm getting confused. Am I on the other side and going to the other level? I think I am? Okay, yeah, I definitely am. I got confused there for a moment, because the other side of that level looks identical to the side that we came in. Yeah, that kind of screwed with my brain there for a minute. So, what exactly do we gotta do here? This is actually another puzzle game in which you cannot jump. There is no jump button in this game, at least none that I'm aware of. So, we have this wall blocking our way. As you can see, this wall is not black though, which means we can't draw on it. By the way, I didn't mention this yet, but if you right-click and drag, you can rotate the camera around and you can use your scroll wheel to zoom in and out. You can actually zoom in pretty close on your little cat creature right here. I also noticed that they're wearing a scarf. Or, well, no, they're wearing some sort of hoodie. You can also see them visibly holding the chalk. I don't think this cat character was designed by the person who made this game. I think they had another person design it for them, I believe. So, there's a giant blackboard right over here. So, we actually just have to cut a massive hole into this blackboard right here. And that's literally all we have to do. Man, I really wish this did not control like an Etch-A-Sketch here, because look at this, for goodness sakes. Yeah, see, you can only draw like very sharp edges right here. There's not a lot of room for freeform. Not really, anyway. Yeah, and if the edges are not connecting to each other, then it doesn't result in the wall getting cut through. So you have to be very precise with this. Like, we could create another cut right around here. Okay, actually, that did still kind of work. Yeah, so we have to make the wind blow through here in order to activate this fan up there so that the passageway opens up to us, essentially. It just gets lifted up. Or it gets lifted upwards, so we just open the passageway because it's wind powered apparently. Yeah, see? I don't like how it just completely resets when you cut a new hole into it. I wish the holes would just stay there, like all the holes that you created, and I also wish that drawing spiral patterns into the wall would also work too, because unfortunately it doesn't most of the time. It doesn't really allow you to draw like complex, intricate patterns here. Most of the time it doesn't work. So anyway, moving on from that, we can just walk on through. See, this is what I mean. Like, look how slow we are walking, for goodness sakes. I don't think there's a way to speed this up either. Yeah, we need to be careful here because we have to try not to fall in the holes in the ground. Actually, can we fall through these holes? I never actually tried attempting this before. Okay, no. So it seems like our cat character just yeah, she just runs, or she just walks around the holes. We can't actually fall in. I don't know, I'm just saying she because looking at the bottom of their outfit right here, kind of looks a bit like a dress almost. I don't really know, but we're just gonna continue on, jump through some more portals, or I guess walk through them. So this is the 4th level. So there's actually 2 different holes that we need to cut here now. So there's obviously this blackboard right here that we literally just need to poke a massive hole through. There we go. Just erase it from existence. So there's some wind that's going to be blowing from that other side. However, there's a massive gap that we need to cross right here. And since we can't jump, we need to find some other sort of method in order to get across this gap. But you'll notice there's actually another boat down in the pit right here. So we have got to rotate the camera a little bit, and we need to draw a hole, or I guess a rectangular hole on this blackboard over here in order to drain the water out of it, because it's holding water inside of it, or retaining water. So we drain the water into the pit, it causes the boat to rise up, and now we can use the boat in order to get across the gap right here. My cat character just, like, walks in place. Yeah, she's using the power of her legs in order to push the boat across. Just pushing the boat across the pond right here. So then, oh god, okay, that was a weird thing that happened with the collision there. But then you have the 5th level right here. You have this giant bell atop the entrance. I don't believe there's anything you can actually do with this bell. So we have a variety of holes in the ground that are all presented like a checkerboard pattern right here. So what exactly do we have to do about this? Well, again, cut a hole, or let's see here. How big can I actually make this? Cut a massive hole into the wall, and then what that'll do is that a bunch of birds will fly out of it. Yes, some very angular birds, again, similar to the ones that we saw in Manifold Garden when we played that sometime last month. Yeah, we just need to get the birds to fly off, and then, yeah, it just kind of replaces the ground with, I don't know, like a very shiny, solid ground that almost looks like ice. It seems to be very reflective. I see my shadow, also the shadows of, like, the arches right here, which themselves are also very angular. Then I cut a tiny hole, and yeah, everything just gets restored all of a sudden. That is, I'm not gonna lie, that's like really jarring. I do like how the shadows update though, so that it looks like there's light passing through it now all of a sudden. Yeah, because you see my shadow there, but then yeah, my shadow disappears when we create a little hole in here. That's at least neat. The lighting system in this game is definitely interesting. Yeah, there's honestly nothing else that we can really do with this blackboard right here. Yeah, even like trying to do this, where we're trying to create like multiple rectangles, where we seemingly would be able to create like multiple holes. Yeah, it just doesn't register it, period. It just creates like a perfect rectangular hole, either rectangular or square. I really wish that it allowed you to be more precise with it. I mean, I definitely like this mechanic, but man, I'm really not sure about its implementation, honestly. Doesn't even seem like you need to necessarily finish. Yeah, you don't need to necessarily connect the edges either. If you go like halfway like this, yeah, it still cuts a hole through it. Actually, if you just put 3 lines like this, then it also registers that as well, it seems. Like, you have to line them up like this. Okay, well, sometimes it works. Sometimes it works, other times it doesn't. It seems to work, a lot more reliably when you're creating, like, a tinier hole. Again, that still seems very finicky to me. But we have to go through this portal now. And that's the end of the game, guys. Yes, that is actually the end of the game, and actually you can also rotate the camera on the title screen here as well. Just left-click and drag. I don't believe it allows you to zoom in, though. No, it doesn't. Yeah, you actually have an overview of, like, the entire game world that you'll be traversing. It all appears right here on the main menu, minus the giant blackboards, of course, but yeah, that's the whole game, guys. I mean, I could still show you who exactly created this game. Yeah, so there are about 3 people in total who contributed to this game's development. Game design and programming by Rebecca Delella, character modeling and animation by Susan Dang, and music and audio clips by Claire Fogarty. And you also have their Twitter handles in the credits as well, except for Claire Fogarty, for some unknown reason. Yeah, and then if we click over here, it just shows you the controls. Yeah, click, walk, interact, hold, draw, and rotate camera. Scroll to zoom, and then right-click and hold to rotate the camera as well. And then settings, I mean, that's self-explanatory. There's actually not a lot of settings. Yeah, this is one of those classic Unity games that actually uses the Unity launcher, which I have not seen in a very long time. This button right here just allows you to play the game again, and this one allows you to exit. And then, of course, you have the logo at the very top of the screen. Also, I do apologize for this cursor right here, because it doesn't seem like I was able to disable it. Doesn't seem like OBS actually recognized it as a cursor, so it's still recording it either way. So, I'm sorry if that was a little bit annoying. Hopefully it didn't get in the way of the video too much, but other than that, guys, yeah, I mean, that's the whole game. We're done. It's certainly a neat little prototype, and I still wanted to show it off to you guys today because I am genuinely intrigued by its premise. I do feel like this is another one of these tiny prototypes that definitely has a lot of potential, but I'm just not really content with how the whole chalk mechanic and drawing on the blackboards to erase them. I'm not really all that content with how it controls a lot like an Etch-A-Sketch, where you can only create like very abrupt edges and you can't create like smooth curved edges or anything. Like, basically it doesn't allow you to draw circles, and I don't really like that. I would appreciate it if it would allow you to draw like more complex, intricate things, or if it would allow you to be a little more creative with your hole cutting, quote-unquote. Also, I really wish there weren't just 5 levels in the game, and I also wish that their solutions were not as simple as just, cutting out a hole of any shape or size, and there you go, you solved the puzzle just like that. Like, I really was expecting a lot more of a challenge when I played this off screen for the first time last night, but as a small prototype, it's got an interesting premise, and I mean, I can't really fault it that much considering it is just like a very early prototype. But I definitely see the potential in this, and I hope that someday it could get turned into a fully fledged game. One of the things that I really used to like doing in the early days of my channel was playing all of these like tiny weird prototypes, because there were a lot of these little prototypes that I also used to play from GameJolt as well. Not just GameJolt, but also other websites like IndieDB. Games like Inverto, Monochrome, ENV, and Museum of Simulation Technology, those games were all just like tiny experimental prototypes when I first played them, and I was mostly attracted to those games because of their concepts. I saw the potential in these prototypes to become actual commercial products one day, which is why I still chose to do videos on them even if they were still very bare bones in their current form. Or at least the state that they were in at the time, that's how I should have worded that. But the sad thing is that most of the small prototypes I've covered on my channel in the past 8 years were never made into full games. Obviously there were exceptions to that, and one of those exceptions was Museum of Simulation Technology, because that game did eventually become a fully fledged commercial game in the form of Superliminal, which I really want to do a video on, because I was actually surprised that that game ever got finished to begin with, so expect a video on that sometime in the future, probably not before the end of the year, but maybe sometime in early 2020 at least. Another example I can think of is Autonauts, because I also remember when I played that game a couple of years ago, it was still in a very early alpha stage of development, it was still free to play on itch.io. I think Autonauts has since become a commercial game now, but I don't know if it's out now or if it's going to be coming out soon, and I think it's actually being published by Curve Digital if I'm not mistaken. So I'm really glad to see Autonauts also getting a commercial release finally, because I did enjoy Autonauts when I first played it back in 2017. So I really hope that this game becomes something way bigger than it currently is, because I see the potential in this game for absolute sure. I don't really see it ever rising to the ranks of Portal or Manifold Garden, but if this does ever become a fully fledged product, it would definitely be a unique experiment in puzzle game design, and it already kind of is, even in its prototype stage. But that whole chalk drawing mechanic really needs to be fleshed out a bit more, I feel, because it's way too finicky for my liking right now. It feels like I'm drawing with an Etch-A-Sketch, and I don't really like that, because I would like to be able to draw circles in addition to squares and rectangles, thank you very much. I feel like you could come up with some very creative and unique ways to solve puzzles with that sort of mechanic, but in its current state, it's just not there yet. Anyway, I'm starting to feel like the majority of this video was just me talking about old games that I've played on my channel from several years ago, so since it's pretty obvious that I'm starting to go completely off topic now, I'm gonna end this video here. If you want to download this game, link is in the description. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video I make. Later!